Kuzangpala. Welcome to Bhutan e-learning project. I'm Kalpana Giri from Yangchin Higher Secondary School, and today I'll be taking you through a geography lesson, Key Stage 4, on the topic the growth of industries, which is in page number 114 in your textbook. So before the lesson, we need to fulfill some lesson objectives. So the first lesson objective is, by the end of the lesson, you should be able to explain industry. The second objective is to describe the different sectors of industry. Third, you should also be able to differentiate between modern and pre-modern industries. Fourth, you should be able to explain the reasons for the establishment of modern industries. And finally, you should be able to identify positive and negative impacts of tourism in our country. So with this, let's proceed to the lesson. So what is industry? I'm sure you must have learned in your previous classes industry and its sector. So to recapitulate, industry can be defined as the production of goods from raw materials. Once more, industry can be defined as the production of goods from raw materials, or industry can also be defined as the people and activities involved in producing a particular good or providing in a particular service. Now let's look at the sectors of industries. In total, there are 3 sectors of industry. First one, primary, secondary, and tertiary sectors. Now let's look at this sector in a brief. So first we have is primary sector. The industries which have direct involvement in collecting raw materials are known as primary sector. Example, agriculture, mining, and forestry. Secondary sector. Manufacturing industries that process raw material, causing it to undergo a physical change, are called secondary sector. Example, all the large, medium, and small scale industry comes under secondary sector. Then finally we have tertiary or service sector. The industry which provides service to people are called as tertiary or service sector or industry. Example, doctor, teacher, tourist agents, bankers, and etc. Now let's look at modern and pre-modern industries. Industries which existed in Bhutan before 1950s are called as pre-modern industries, and the industries that developed after the coronation of third Druk Gyalpo to the Golden Throne in 1952 are called as modern industries in Bhutan. Now let's look at some of the differences between modern and pre-modern industries. Modern industry and pre-modern industry. Modern industry, goods are manufactured by using machines, whereas in pre-modern industry, goods are handmade. Modern industries, goods produce general goods, whereas in pre-modern industry, produce mainly agricultural goods. In modern industry, goods are produced in larger quantity, whereas in pre-modern industry, goods are produced in smaller quantity. Goods are produced in large or medium-scale industries, whereas in pre-modern industry, goods are produced in small or cottage industry. In modern industry, employs more labor, whereas in pre-modern industry, employs only few laborers. Agriculture was only the source that contributed to the country's economy during the long isolation period in the beginning of 1960s. The main function of the manufacturers was to provide tools and household needs to the farmers and their families. That's why small manufacturing units were dispersed throughout the country. Now let's look at some of the common pre-modern industries that existed in our country. So the first one we have is textile work, then we have bamboo works, then we have woodworks, then we have desho, traditional paper, and then finally we have iron and gold smithies. Now let's look at this pre-modern industries in detail. Textile works. Home-based textile work has been a popular industry in Bhutan for a long time. People wove clothes according to the availability of raw materials in their locality. For example, in some parts of Bumthang and in places in the higher altitudes, people reared sheep, so they produced woolen textile. Whereas in the eastern Bhutan and in the Kheng region, people cultivated cotton, so they produced cotton clothes. And in Samrup Dzongkhar and in Orong regions, people raised silkworms in Bhutan and made clothes from raw silk called bura. Now let's go to bamboo works. People of Kheng use bamboo to make baskets, hats, and other useful kitchen items. Skilled basket makers can be found in both foothills and high altitude regions. People in both the region barter their goods for cereals and other agricultural products with people from other parts of the country in the past. Now let's talk about woodworks. Due to the presence of abundant forest resources, woodwork has always been an important craft of the Bhutanese. Different types of wood are used to make tools, containers, and decorative items. Cups called Saching Phop are made from nodules of poplar, maple, or wormwood. Saching Phops are very popular among the Bhutanese, and such cup may cost as much as 5,000 nultums. Other popular kind of woodwork are the decorative carvings which embellish buildings and the carvings of xylographs or printing blocks. Now let's talk about Desho, a traditional paper. Desho is the traditional paper made in Bhutan. Paper making in Bhutan is a living tradition. It is not known when and who introduced the skill in Bhutan. When Samuel Turner visited Bhutan in 1783, he found Desho making a well-established tradition, and he described Desho as the strongest paper he had ever seen. Desho is made from the bark of daphne, commonly known as dishing. It is a plant with fibrous bark growing at elevation between 1200 and 3000 meters above sea level and is found across the entire country. Now let's look at the process of making Desho paper. First, vasks are removed from the daphne plants and cut into short pieces. The second process, the vasks are soaked, cleaned, and beaten into a soft pulp. The pulp is then mixed with water and then spread over the mat covered by cotton cloth. The mat is then shaken from side to side until the pulp is evenly spread. And finally, it is then dried by the sun and wind or over metal heater. Uses of Desho paper. Due to its strong fiber, Desho is mainly used for important documents and religious scripts that needs to be preserved for ages. Nowadays, it is also used for wrapping parcels and gifts. It can also be used for making bags, envelopes, books, cards, etc. Desho making has now assumed a commercial scale in Thimphu and Trashigang. Now let's talk about iron and gold smithies. Tradition of working with iron in Bhutan goes back many centuries. During 8th century, Sindagap of Bumthang is said to have built an iron castle at Chakhar on the bank of Chamkhar Chu. In our country, crafts such as wood and metal working are considered professional occupations open to any person with sufficient interest and talent. They supply utensils, tools, weapons, and ornaments to people. A person who possessed the skills of all the crafts that have been described so far and other such as painting, sculpting, carpentry used to earn high regard in our society in the past. They are collectively known as Zorik Chusum, the 13 crafts. Amongst the few who achieved all the 13 skills were the 15th century Saint Pema Lingpa and Shabdrung Awang Namgyal. Till now, we talked about pre-modern industries that existed in our country. Now, let's look at the modern industries. So, modern industries came to existence with the construction of National Highway or the Zhunglam. So, with the development or with the construction of National Highway, it was easy to carry raw materials and to carry bulky machines to the factories. So now let's look at the reasons for the development of industries in Bhutan. The first reason for the development of industries in Bhutan was to increase the people's level of income, which then increases the ability to purchase goods and services, leading to economic development. Second reason, to encourage entrepreneurship among as many people as possible. Third one, to produce goods of good quality by using local materials so that they can be sold abroad. Fourth, to help reduce our dependence on imported goods. And finally, to create jobs for the people who are unemployed. So these are the reasons that enhance the development of industries in our country. Now, let's look at the distribution of industries. Before looking at the distribution of industries, let's find out why in some areas there are huge numbers of industries, where in some areas there are no industries. So, Our country is divided into 6 regions, and in region A, the places are Thimphu, Paro, Punakha, and Wangde, Ha. And in region B, the places are Chuka and Samsi. So if we look at the region B, we have large-scale industries established there. So now why these large-scale industries are established in region B, that is in Chuka and Samsi. So now let's find out the reason. The reasons for the development of large-scale industries in region B, that is Samsi and Chuka, were: firstly, the national highway helped in transporting bulky machines and raw materials to the factory site since the highway was first developed in this area. Secondly, the hydroelectric power station at Chuka has become a reliable source of power to run machines in the factories. Thirdly, the communication facilities are also developed in this region first, which helped the industrialists to contact partners in different parts of the world. So these were the reasons for the development of large-scale industries in Samsi and Chuka. So Bhutan's 2 largest industries are Bhutan Boat Product Limited, BBPL at Tala, and Bhutan Carbide and Chemicals Limited, BCCL at Pasakha. So during your free time, you can refer the case study which is in your textbook about these 2 large industries. Now let's look at the service industries. So what is service industries? Service industries or service sectors are those sectors which provides services to the people. Service industries are growing quickly throughout Bhutan. New schools, shops and banks are opened and more telephone lines are being connected in towns and villages every year. However, Bhutan's most important service industries in terms of income is tourism. Traveling has always been an important activity. People traveled mainly to look for land, food, shelter, and opportunities for trade. People traveling for all such purposes has given rise to the industry called tourism. Tourism involves those activities undertaken by people who stay away from home for 24 hours or more on holidays. So there are 3 factors that lead to the development of tourism. The first factor is attraction. So attraction means something special that attract people. Different things attract different people. Foreign tourists are attracted to a rich cultural and natural heritage. They come to Bhutan to trek through areas of pristine natural beauty as well as to learn about our unique culture by visiting zongs, villages, festivals and religious sites. The next factor we have is accessibility. It means how easily one can reach to a place. Tourists must be able to get easily from their home country to the area they are visiting within the limited holidays. With the starting of Drukgyal, accessibility has been increased from Calcutta, New Delhi, Dhaka, Kathmandu and Bangkok. Then the third factor is educate service infrastructure. It includes accommodation, food and transport. Tourist organizations usually spring up in the locality to provide such services. In Thimphu alone, there are more than 30 travel agencies and 10 tourist hotels have come up during the last 20 years, further enhancing the service infrastructure. Now let's look at the impact of tourism. So we have both positive and negative impact of tourism in our country. So the first is, let's look at the positive impact. The first impact is the source of revenue. Tourism generates revenue to the country which helps in the economic development. Then second one, it also gives employment opportunities to the people. Now if we talk about negative impact, there are 3 negative or many negative impacts related to tourism. First one is pollution of the environment. When tourists come to a country in large numbers, they litter and then they pollute our environment, which leads to environment pollution. Second one is losing of traditional culture and national identity. When tourists visit our country, the exchange of traditional and cultural identity happens and there is a high chances of losing our traditional and culture. Then third one is spreading of diseases. When tourists comes in large numbers and if they have any kinds of diseases, then it can be easily transmitted or spread over locality wherever they visit. So these are the impact of tourism. For more, you can refer your textbook. As we have looked at the impact of tourism, both the positive and negative. Now look at the tourism sector with the current situation of COVID-19 pandemic. The tourism sector has been massively affected by the spread of coronavirus, as many countries have introduced travel restriction contain the spread of the disease. Many attraction spots in the world, such as parks, museums, sport venues, have been closed, leading to losing of jobs and losing of revenue, which directly has affected the economic growth of the country. A country is considered industrialized if more than 3/4 of its population is engaged in secondary and tertiary sectors. Like most of the developing countries, Bhutan's employment pattern is reverse of that of industrialized nations, while agriculture remains the basis of our economy. Industrial development must take place to support our economy along with the promotion of traditional crafts. So I have a few activities for you to carry out at your homes. So the first question I have is, why were the small manufacturing units dispersed throughout the country? Second one, if you are to establish an industry, what are the factors that you will take into consideration? And finally, what are the positive and negative impacts of tourism? With this, I have come to an end of the lesson. I hope you have understood, and please read topic, the growth of industries, and explore more, and stay home and stay safe. Thank you.